Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel. XRP has become the most popular means of payment on a debit card from a very popular platform, and as it turns out, there are legal consequences to this. According to a couple of popular attorneys that happen to be pro XRP. So, specifically, this fact could have an impact on the SEC versus Ripple case. And so, I'm going to highlight the specifics on that and share with you the opinions from the two attorneys that have spoken out on this topic. And it's a fascinating point of view, and it's also fascinating that, and I'll just hold off. There are specifics that I want to cite. I'll just do them all at once. And I'm actually going to start this video though with a little PSA, a little public service announcement. But before I go any further, I do want to be clear that I don't have a legal or financial background of any kind. I am not offering legal or financial advice, and you should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast. There's nothing special about me. I like to make YouTube videos as a hobby on topics such as Ripple, XRP, and cryptocurrency in general. That is all that's going on here, just to be super duper transparent. And so, James Filan, if that's how you say that. Somebody suggested that in the last video. I don't know for sure. I need verification from James, right? I don't know how to say his last name. Somebody said it's Filan, which is something that I actually had not yet guessed. I was like, is it Filan? Filan? I don't know. So we'll go with Filan, because that's the best guess I have to this point now. Filan. Anyway, he highlighted a new document from just yesterday, and he wrote the following. A telephonic discovery conference has been scheduled for Tuesday, April 6, 2021 at 2 p.m. to discuss defendants' joint motion to compel. Scheduling order attached. Now that I'm not going to run through in this video, but check this part out. Judge Netburn is not happy about recordings of previous conferences. And so what was highlighted right here? Several, and this is from the judge, mind you, Sarah Netburn. She wrote, several unauthorized recordings were made of the previous discovery conference. The parties and the public are reminded that, pursuant to SDNY Local Civil Rule 1.8b, quote, no one other than court officials engaged in the conduct of court business shall make an audio or video recording of any proceeding or any communication with the court, an employee of the court, or any person acting at the direction of the court, including a mediator, end quote. So ordered, and then signed Sarah Netburn. And so there were all sorts of people within the XRP community that broke that rule and did record what was going on with the conference. And I don't think that the people that did this, I don't think that they realized that what they were doing was breaking the law when they were doing that. And so I just thought I'd use my platform to try and protect people that I believe that these people are acting in good faith, right? But I want to try and protect those people, and so to make sure that they don't unwittingly break the law, because there could be legal consequences for you if you record this, especially if you upload it to the Webernets. So and it's not good for the Ripple community, so or the XRP community. And so John Deaton shared that and wrote the following on this topic. To the XRP community, first, I'm very aware that you don't have to listen to me, but I'm going to ask anyway. Please do not violate any of the court's rules related to unauthorized recordings or anything else. Please do not contact the court or the court's clerk. Yes, indeed. So I wanted to highlight that. Jeremy Hogan also chimed in, and here's what he had to say on this topic. Attorney Filan is right. Please don't record the hearings, and definitely don't post the illegal recording online. The judge will know it's a Ripple/XRP person, and it's a bad look. First rule of litigation equals don't summon the litigation gremlins when things are going well. So yeah, it will look bad on the XRP community. And so I'm not saying that anybody that did this had ill intent or knew that they were doing something wrong, but it will make the community look bad here. And so on that point, John Deaton wrote, many people wouldn't even be aware of this rule considering it's an open hearing to the public, but now the court has addressed the issue and put the public on notice. No harm, no foul yet, but This is the court politely saying, now you know. And now if you're listening to this Moon Lambo hot jam, you know as well. So just be a good XRP community member and don't break the law. How about that? I think we're good. Like, the XRP community is full of good people, but I just want to put that out there as a little PSA. Now take a look at this from Uphold. Now we're getting to the meat of it. Wrote, it's quiz time. Which crypto has been used most on the Uphold debit card in 2021? And for those of you that don't know, you can actually spend your cryptocurrency using a debit card from cryptocurrency exchange Uphold. And so they put this poll out. What was the number one guess? Well, XRP came in, this is the guess anyway, by the people that saw this poll. There were 5,420 votes. And the final results were 79% of respondents thought that XRP would be the most used crypto on this debit card. 12.6% thought it would be Bitcoin. 6.8% thought it would be Dogecoin. And as it turns out, the majority was correct. It was XRP. And you can see here's a tweet from Uphold. The results are in. 79% of you were correct. XRP is the most used crypto on the Uphold debit card this year. And so in seeing that, now this is where the lawyers jump in and it gets super fascinating to me. So Arturo Portilla, who is self-described as a Mexican tax and fintech lawyer, retweeted that and wrote the following. And before I even cover this, like, just understand that at the heart of the SEC versus Ripple case is whether XRP, the sales of XRP, represents an investment contract, whether XRP today actually is a security. And so Arturo Portilla wrote, and he's writing this sarcastically, mind you. He wrote, an investment contract is preferred over Bitcoin to make everyday payments with crypto-backed debit cards. Go figure. And so he's facetiously stating here, obviously, with a little bit of tongue-in-cheek here, obviously, that the investment contract, which would be XRP, is preferred for purchases instead of Bitcoin to make everyday payments, right? Go figure. Well, how about that? And to some degree, I think it speaks to the degree to which Uphold has just been quite a home for the XRP community. They've just endlessly been supportive of XRP, and they continue to allow the trading of it in the United States, despite the SEC spooking off a bunch of other major cryptocurrency exchanges, including Coinbase. And Arturo Portilla then wrote the following. If XRP buyers have an expectation to obtain profits from the efforts of a third party, why are they spending their XRP? And so let me stop there. Why does that matter? Because it goes back to the Howey test. If you're expecting some sort of central authority to result in the your investment increasing in terms of market price, why the hell would you sell it? Right? And so that just goes to show that there's utility. And if something has utility, and if a cryptocurrency is sufficiently decentralized, of course it cannot be a security. So that's why even just this one point in and of itself is completely relevant here. Arturo continues. If they're expecting the price to go up and obtain profits, the natural thing to do is avoid spending XRP. Uphold should file an amicus brief. And then he tagged attorney John Deaton. And since I'm not a lawyer, I didn't know what the hell an amicus brief was. I've seen that term bandied about a bit by the lawyers over the last, couple months or so. And so I, luckily, as it turns out, I have the sum of all human knowledge at my fingertips because I have the internet. And so what I did was I typed in, what is an amicus brief? And I came across this particular website as one of the first results. And they covered this topic, so I thought I'd share it with you because most people listening, of course, like me, we're lay people. We don't have legal backgrounds. Some of you out there are lawyers, I know that, but most of us are not. So what's an amicus brief? An amicus curiae brief. I should have looked how to pronounce that, actually. Curiae, C-U-R-I-A-E. Like, are they just making words up so that I sound like a fool? Did they know I was coming here? Anyway, an amicus curiae brief, we'll just go with that, is a persuasive legal document filed by a person or entity in a case, usually while the case is on appeal, in which it is not a party but has an interest in the outcome, typically the rule of law that would be established by the court in its ruling. Amicus curiae literally means friend of the court. Amicus parties try to, quote, help the court reach its decision by offering facts, analysis, or perspective that the parties to the case have not. And so I think that's also why Attorney John Deaton has filed to intervene in this case because the well-being and the perspective of XRP holders is not being represented in this case. That's not a knock against Ripple at all, but and their attorneys, they're doing their job, and as far as I can tell, they're doing a damn good job in fending off the SEC. We'll see how this all goes. But their attorneys are hired to help Ripple specifically, and then there are separate attorneys also for Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson, since they've been named as well in the suit. So it'd be great if this intervention actually happens. And as far as filing this amicus brief, if even Arturo Portilla, because I've seen all sorts of attorneys talk about this here, if they think it's a good idea, I hope that Uphold's at least paying attention and taking the concept to their legal team to see if they think that it makes sense. Would not mind seeing that as least, because you could actually influence what happens in this case. Even if you're not the plaintiff or defendant, you could still materially impact what happens. And the consequences of all this are going to be tremendously far-reaching. And I don't mean to sound hyperbolic, but there's a lot at stake here. There really is. No less than like the long-term viability of the crypto asset class in the United States. Because if XRP itself is a security, what the hell isn't? You're going to completely ruin it. It'd just be as bad as I mentioned this in a video the other day, as if you shut down the adoption of the internet in 1995. Can you imagine that? And then all that innovation, humans still would have figured out the great ways to utilize the internet and internet connection, but it would have happened elsewhere. And so for the United States, it certainly would have been good. And so that's what's at stake here. All this innovation, it's going to happen. It's going to happen no matter what, so long as the internet continues to exist. And do we want it to happen in the United States, or do we not? Well, people in the United States, generally speaking, I think they would like that economic boon. But the SEC, they're here to wreck everyone's day. They really are. And so then John Deaton, he did respond to Arturo Portilla here, and he actually tagged, this is funny, I'm going to read it just as this was written, and this is really comical, and you'll understand why it was written the way it was written in a second. But John Deaton tagged Uphold, the cryptocurrency exchange, as well as JP, who is the CEO of Uphold, and wrote the following. And I'm just going to read it as it's on your screen right now, okay? So when you're like, Moon Lambo, are you having a stroke? No, if you think I'm having a stroke, just look at the letters on the screen. You'll see what I'm talking about. And it goes as follows. JP, I raised this amicus issue when On the Chain, that's the YouTube channel On the Chain, when he was on their channel early on. If allowed intervention, I will be asking for a declaratory judgment, job, or LPK, my J, and the MZZGs, www Kubout, an amicus brief, and I'm not the only one. I'm so glad he left that up. I really am. So what happened there? What happened there? So he retweeted that tweet of his own, John Deaton, and he wrote the following. He explained, "Let's try that again. My 2-year-old sent," and then he's got a little laughy emoji. So you can just imagine that he's got a little 2-year-old on his lap, and then it gets sent when it's not after a bunch of gibberish accidentally gets typed there. And so anyway, then he tagged JP and wrote, "If we get to intervene, please consider an amicus joining in our request for a declaratory judgment that XRP is not a security." And then Arturo actually jumped back in there and wrote the following. And he tagged Greg Kidd, who is CEO at Global ID. Now, Greg Kidd, he also worked at Ripple from 2013 to 2015 as their chief risk officer. And he didn't need to work there. As he put it, he begged Ripple for a job because he found it so fascinating what they were trying to do. And talk about that in 2013, like that's super duper early days for Ripple and for crypto in general. XRP had barely existed at that point in time. And he didn't need to work, mind you. He had already found his own massive success career-wise. But he wanted to jump in. He just found it that fascinating. And Greg Kidd also owns a ton of XRP. And so here Arturo wrote the following. "Don't forget Greg Kidd, CEO at Global ID, in parentheses he writes, also offers an XRP credit card, and founding partner at Hard Yaka, a VC fund that has made various investments in companies that use XRP in one way or another, for example, Uphold, Puma Browser, TransferGo, GateHub, Kava, Bitso, etc." And so these are all separate use cases here. And indeed, Greg Kidd's firm has invested in cryptocurrency exchange Uphold, as well as Bitso, and the other one cited there. So it's just kind of fascinating here. I can't believe for a moment that the SEC believes even half of the arguments that they're making here. How could someone be that bad at logic? Like, even like super duper emotionally driven people, like, and you know, there are all sorts of humans like that. Like, I feel like even they could grasp this. Whatever. You tell me. What did I get right? What did I get wrong? What'd you eat for breakfast? Just let me know in the comments below. I'm not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.